Welcome to the top-rated and award-nominated Grad School Femtoring Podcast, the place for first-gen BIPOCs to learn about all things grad school, personal development, and sustainable productivity. This is Doctora Yvette Martinez-Vu, and I will be serving as your Femtor, providing you with tips and tricks and everything else you need to know to successfully navigate grad school and beyond. For over 13 years, I've been empowering first-gen students of color along their academic and professional journeys, and I'm really excited to support you too. This episode is brought to you by listeners like you. As many of you know, I started this podcast 4 years ago to provide a space to empower first-gen BIPOCs as they pursue higher ed. Over time, I've also been able to uplift voices of those systemically excluded from the ivory tower. Now that the show has grown, however, the podcast requires financial support to sustain itself. If you are a loyal listener, you can provide a monthly or one-time donation at the links provided in my show notes. And if you are a mission-driven company or organization interested in sponsoring an episode, please contact me at gradschoolfemtoring@gmail.com so that you can learn more about my sponsorship packages. If you found this podcast valuable in any way, shape, or form, I really hope you'll consider investing in the show. Every little bit helps. Now, back to the episode. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Grad School Femtoring Podcast. This is your host, Doctora Yvette. Today, I'm going to be talking about my secret weapon for laser-focused productivity. It's called brown noise, and it's something that I use regularly when I need to especially focus hard on a task. Now, let's dive straight into the topic. What is brown noise? Brown noise is a type of sound that has a lower frequency and a deeper tone. When I think about brown noise, I think of the sound of a strong, rushing river. That's the noise that I think about. A lot of times brown noise is compared to white noise or to pink noise, although each of those work on a different frequency and sound slightly different. So, for example, white noise can sound more staticky, and it also is often described as sounding like a fan. And while it's great for putting babies to sleep, for instance, it can sometimes be irritating to some people, myself included. So I like brown noise as opposed to white noise because the sound of it, the lower, deeper frequency, is actually quite soothing and quite calming. I don't even know when I first heard about brown noise, but I've been consistently using it for over a year. I've also started incorporating it with my son in his homeschooling to help him to focus on tasks that he's especially not interested in doing. So the combination of using brown noise along with timers works really, really well at getting him to focus on things he doesn't want to do. The things that he is interested in, the things that he does want to do, he doesn't need any more laser focus. He goes into intense hyper focus mode, and I can be like that too. So for me, this is my secret weapon because it's the thing that I pull out for doing the things that I really don't want to do. And it's not my only secret weapon. I also use timers and I use co-working sessions to force me to do things that I don't want to do. And it's all because I'm hacking my brain. I am neurodivergent. And since learning about that, it's actually been quite fun to learn about all of these different tools and tactics that you can try out to help you with your productivity. So going back to, why does even brown noise work, and could it potentially work for you? Let's talk a little bit more about what I can gather about the science of brown noise. Now, I am not a researcher on brown noise, but I do know that different sounds impact the brain differently I have been learning more also about nervous system regulation. And so I find it interesting because brown noise to me also sounds similar to the sound of humming. And when you humming is actually one tool that you can use to stimulate your vagus nerve. And when you stimulate your vagus nerve, this vagus nerve is like in the area behind your neck, somewhere there, it actually helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm you down. A lot of us, we get easily triggered, we get easily activated and stressed. And so then we go into the sympathetic nervous system state. And that's when you go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So when you stimulate the vagus nerve through humming, you actually chill yourself out, you calm yourself down. You are basically indicating to your body that you are safe. And so I think it's super interesting to know that something like brown noise could have a similar effect on the body as something like humming or other tools that help you to calm down. So that's basically what I was trying to say. The point of it is that brown noise has been proven to induce a state of calm and relaxation, which helps to increase focus and increase concentration. There's a whole set of TikTok videos that you can find. And I'm not even huge on TikTok, but I know that there's a lot of TikTok videos that rave about the power of brown noise. I know that I ran into a video of someone saying that nothing else had helped them to quiet down their mind more than brown noise had. And I found myself having a similar experience because I do tend to have a very busy mind, and brown noise helps to kind of shut out all the internal noise as well as the external noise because I am someone who works from home. And when I put on headphones, put on brown noise, I'm able to block out everything that I hear on the outside. It could be my kids yelling, it could be the sound of screams or of the washing machine running, or you name it, whatever it is. I no longer think about that. I'm no longer thinking about what I have to do, a million thoughts running in my mind. Instead, I can just focus on the task at hand. So, wanted you to know a little bit more about why it works. And again, like with everything, I'm always going to say this, it might work great for you. It might not work that great for you, but it's worth testing it out because when I first learned about it, I was very skeptical. I thought to myself, I don't know. But then I found it quite handy. Now I don't use it for everything, but I do use it when I'm especially struggling with focusing on something I don't want to do. It can also be handy if you set a timer and listen to brown noise, I don't know, for 10 minutes or so before going to bed. It can help to relax you before going to bed and help put you in a state very similar to when you're meditating. So if you're someone who loves meditating, or maybe you've tried guided meditations and they haven't worked for you, try out, a short timer with brown noise and see if it helps you to relax before going to sleep. Okay, so now how do you actually find the brown noise? Because I want you to actually test it out for yourself. We're getting close to wrapping up. It's actually quite simple. You Google brown noise, the first thing that's going to pop up is this very popular YouTube video. I'm sure the person who created this long 8 to 10 hour brown noise track is making lots of money off of that video because it's very popular and a lot of people watch it. That was the first thing I ran into when I first discovered brown noise. I now have an album on Apple Music that's all brown noise tracks. And that's what I use to listen to instead of going to that YouTube video. But either way, you can find videos online, you can find apps with the sounds of it online. And you can also, if you use anything like Spotify or Apple Music, you should be able to find some tracks there that have brown noise. All right. I think that's all I have to say about it. This time around, I had someone recently ask me about what I do to help me focus. And then I mentioned that I implement sound cues. And then I mentioned brown noise as one example of multiple kinds of sound cues to help you focus. And because of that, that was another reason why I wanted to record this episode. Every time I have questions that come up a lot, I want to make sure I record an episode so that when that question comes up again, I can direct them to that episode and answer their question with as much detail as I can. So that is it for this time. So I will catch you all next time. Thanks so much for joining me in the Grad School Femtoring Podcast. If you like what you heard, here are 4 ways you can support the show. The first is to make sure you're subscribed and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The second way is to get your copy of my free Grad School Femtoring Resource Kit, which includes essential information to prepare for and navigate grad school. You can access it at the link in today's show notes. The third way to support my show is to follow me on social media. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @GradSchoolFemtoring and on LinkedIn by searching my name. The last way to show your love is to sign up to work with me via my Grad School Femtoring Academy, my group coaching program for first-gen BIPOCs seeking to work on their personal growth and gain sustainable productivity skills. You can learn more at gradschoolfemtoring.com/academy. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.